Welcome back to the verdict. Well, it does appear as though much later, by 11 a.m., some politicians will have big smiles on their faces. Others will grin, others will frown because somebody has to win, someone has to lose. But perhaps how they lose may be the key thing here. But let me also get to Mr. Chima Amadi, who is a former Executive Director, Center for Advocacy and Transparency, also joining us from Abuja. Well, Mr. Amadi, you've also kept an eye on this process, much as there may be several reports. What's your reading of what's going on at the moment?
I think, like they would say, the die is cast. The results are now trickling in. And we must commend the INEC for its resilience. We're getting lots of shocks around the country. And so for those, like one of your in-house analysts was saying, talking about voter apathy being induced by the doubts of many people whether their votes will count. So I think the results are showing that indeed that people's votes will count, and it's actually counting. When you have people I call traditional election winners losing elections that they were not expected to lose in the first instance, you will see what is happening in places like Para and Akwa Ibom and other places. That tells you that the people are speaking, and that the umpire, to a very large degree, has delivered on his avowed mandates to ensure that only what happened on the day of voting will determine who gets Nigeria's mandates, and not in the very comfortable offices of the INEC here in Abuja. But we're also getting very disturbing reports of attempts by the political class to game the system, as it were. We're talking about very severe pressure on returning officers, resident electoral commissioners, collation officers to, change figures. And just this morning, we are receiving reports of what is happening in Owerri, in Imo State, the Imo State capital. And this is not in any way, it doesn't gladden the heart. However, having said that, I think it is important that we commend the processes so far that has been put in place. And I think that vigilance alone is what will eventually guarantee that ultimately votes count.
Well, Mr. Amadi, what reports exactly are you getting? I mean, Mr. Ko is here. He could help shed some light on it. Could you be a little more specific, if you can?
Yes, Imo State is becoming a debacle. First of all, if you have been following the trend in Imo State, you would have noticed that elections took place there very late deployment, which from available information from observers and what we now know was triggered by all kinds of pressures on officers that are supposed to do their job, and all kinds of sabotage, which has now led to a situation where reports, early this morning, talking about candidates storming collation centers, returning officers refusing to continue to announce results because they are being threatened or put under pressure to, announce results one way or the other. Just before I came on the studio, I was made aware of a situation where in a senatorial district in Owerri, the Olu zone, a situation where the returning officer there is alleging that his life is under threat, and that is being asked to announce results that has not been properly authenticated. And this is in the media already. The Premium Times is reporting it. Various groups, observer groups, are reporting it, and it's a very serious situation. But what is gladdening, what is encouraging, is that the officers there are holding the beat. They are refusing to be compromised. They are insisting on going ahead to do what they have been mandated to do, which is to ensure that only results that are cast by Nigerians on the election day is actually what counts. And so, but some of these things we should be discouraged when the political class begin to mount unnecessary and unbearable pressures on officers that are supposed to just do their job and go home.
Mr. Okoya, are you aware of this scenario?
Well, we, as a commission, we receive reports from various parts of the country in relation to the collation exercise. In all the places where we have received reports of security threats or insecurity at the various collation centers, we have always attended to such reports. So we're receiving reports from various parts of the country. As at the time situation room last night, we have not received a report in relation to anything untoward going on in Imo State. But if such a report has been received, I am sure that the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission will attend to it. We receive reports from several parts of the country where the lives of some of our ad hoc staff were in danger, and we attended to such reports quickly. The Inspector General of Police has been on hand to receive such reports, and in some of the places where we made reports, he intervened quickly, and those issues were attended to. So the moment I get back to the situation room, I will check out the report which he has alluded to, and if anything untoward is going on in those places, or if the life of anybody is in danger, or somebody is being put under pressure, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the national commissioner supervising that particular state, we get in touch with the relevant authorities to make sure that no collation officer is put under pressure or is put under a situation where the person will be urged or forced to do what is not in the law or what is not right. So we are dealing with some of these situations, and we expect that the political parties and their candidates will intervene and not put any of our ad hoc staff under any form of pressure.
All right. Well, it appears as though the court will be busy again.
Well, most certainly, our lawyers are going to have a lot to do this time around.
Certainly. There'll be a lot to do because, like Mr. Mahdi said, we're having a kind of novelty in terms of the tropes of this election. And traditionalists or those who think that is their turf, or those who think that they ought to be there, certainly they're going to be feeding court, they're going to go to court and have a lot of things to do. And what I just want to say is that whether we like it or not, it's a given that in the process so far, at least from election history in Nigeria, that there will always be allegations of collusions, of, we don't have, and I've said it again, the culture does not, our culture so far has not matured to that level where we can say that we trust ourselves explicitly and implicitly. Okay. There's always that question of, would you not cheat?
Let's see if that question will come up. In Lagos, this collation center. Let's get back to it.
LM 03 LP 03 Maja 09 MMN 64 MPN 05 NAC 20 NCMP 04 NCP 20 NDCP 02 NDLP 06 NEPP 01 NFD 15 NIP 10 NNPP 10 NPC 31 NRM 11 NUP 19 PCP 470 PDP 28,600 715, 28715. PPA 40, PPC 32, PPN 20, PT 10, RAP 02, RBNP 02, RP 11, SDP 71, SNC 87, SNP 04, UDP 02, UP 02, UPN 03, WTPN 01, yes 25, YPP 724, 724, total valid votes 72,465, 72465, rejected votes 3,314, 3314, total vote cast 75,779, 75779. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Kindly check the spreadsheet up there. The total that we have there is not in agreement with your total. 72,476. And that means that you will need to go and recheck your calculations. 476. That's total valid votes. There is a need to check your calculations. Please, you come back to present again. If there is any local government that is ready, the collation officer can come forward. Any local government ready should come forward.
So there you go, the challenges of a manualized process rather than having the
process,
transmitting results electronically. This is going to be a huge one.
Well, it's going to be huge, very huge. Like Kimber said, 4 forms between the polling booth and the collation center at the state level, or even at the federal level. Certainly it's going to throw up a lot.
Add that to the relay of officers.
Yes, and a lot.
You stop and you go back.
Yes,
this guy takes it.
I think there has to be a reconsideration of the narrative elections, because really, these are the things that embellishes that deficit that trust deficit. Because how would I be sure that in manually transmitting, physically transmitting, there won't be some untoward actions going on?
But then the argument would also be from some people, well, while the manual exercise is definitely cumbersome and, all kinds of, things can happen along the way, someone will also tell you that the electronic is also vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Because that can be hacked into. So many things can go wrong. No system is actually perfect. Not anywhere in the world. In terms of election, none has been so perfect so far. They can have a large percentage of, excellent or whatever it is, but perfection, no. So you're going to have, even in electoral process, electronic process, you still have some people who contest that, okay, there have been manipulations. Okay, we're still having 2 years into the term of Trump. They are still saying that there was some intrusion from the Russians.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. Okoye. Okay, we'll get back to him as quickly as we can.
But that's why I check his account, to be sure that nobody hacks into his account and takes that money time and again.
I'll take it to him when we can. But how vulnerable has this manualized system exposed the electoral process?
So much so. So much so. The vulnerability is now seen. Okay, imagine Imo State. We've been told that in Imo State there's a pressure on the electoral officer to manipulate it. Of course, it's not as though that even if it's electronic, it
Does the vulnerability take away the credibility of...
Somewhat it would. Because we're talking about credible, fair, transparent, everything, all imbibed into that process. So if I'm suspicious that between point A and point B, things can go wrong.
But don't forget that the agents are also there to guard against their own vote. Does it really take away the credibility of the process, even though it is manualized?
Like, okay, probably in a situation where we have a huge amount of trust that is evident, you can see that that would probably make a little dent in the process, in the credibility of the process. But in a situation whereby it's almost like shine your eye, everybody saying shine your eye and things like that. So you are going to have the process when it's manual will throw up a lot of reasons for people to doubt themselves, to see that, oh, I mean, imagine they said somebody was following the bus or the car or the vehicle from the point of they followed the vehicle till the point where it was released. So we don't want anything to go wrong. We don't want anything to go wrong, because if it was like a system where we believe so much in it, it's just a matter of when to sign off. You go back home knowing fully well that what you signed off here is what you will receive as the end point.